Michaelis is making improvement on his qualified time, and he's already moved his way all the way up to 4th place, making that pass for 4th on the bottom going into turn 1. We have a spinner. The number 13 of Mattis loops it going into turn 3.
Still Weaver, Bauer, and Gunn. Tim Schaefer doing the Lord's work, stretching the racetrack out.
He's trying to make that upper side work. Oh, but Kemenaugh's, I'm about to say something about it. Goes on his win. We got a red flag with the number 15, K of Creed Kemenaugh upside down in turn number 3.
Rock Pinkerus to his outside. Miley gets away. Pinkerus now. Lucan making a big move to swipe that second spot.
Lucan goes to the high side and gets totally sideways and somehow saves it. And Pinkerus kept underneath him and did not make contact, so they get their way down the back straightaway. And there goes Matt on the outside as he makes his way into turn 1. Gets that 3rd position, but the 48 is making a charge from last all the way up to 3rd already on his way out of turn 2. Looking on the outside into turn number 3, see if he could go from 6th to 2nd in 1 lap. A little bit of a gap there, about a second or so.
48 car looking to the outside now. Mike Bacalon has the nose out front. Can he hold it through? Turn number 4. Bacalon up into 2nd, the 57 of Devin Thompson down to the 3rd.
There's a Sunday drive for the 7FL right now as he's going to come across the line with 2 to go.
Oh.
And a 28A is sideways, holding on to that 3rd position.
28A was sideways in front of the 57 and the 7. We got into each other in turn number 4. Almost a accident.
Oh, we got a little contact. The 7 into the 57. No harm, no foul, maybe.
57 lets him go by.
Magic Mike will go down to the bottom there and take that position away. And here we go, fans. Get on your feet. Take your hats off. Wave to these drivers. They are 4 wide on Dirt's Monster Half Mile for you at our pot of gold number 3.
Let them hear you. Let them feel you. 4 wide, 20 laps around Dirt's Monster Half Mile. The 410 Fast on Dirt sprint cars. We're going to pack him into 3. We'll ship him off into turn number 4. We're back to green here in Pittsburgh.
Going to turn 1. AJ Flick goes around on the high side, gets that lead position away from Brandon Spithaler, going down the back straightaway. And he'll stay in the mid side of the racetrack, going through turns 3 and 4. Spithaler 2nd. And the number 11 of Norris is 3rd.
Bring him to that start cone over there, the exit of turn number 4. Flick takes a really high line off the top, and he's going to rock it to the front of the field.
We got a mix-up in the back end of the field. A couple cars not firing. A little bit of bumper tag, and the cone. The cone is a casualty of that restart as it got hit and is sitting in the middle of the front straightaway.
AJ Flick brings him down to the pack and ship start zone. They're going to be over there in turn number 4. They're flying down to the green flag of the ATI flag stand. Flash bombs aplenty. Spithaler to the bottom. Flick rides the top, the brand new rolled in top. And he's out and up. Check it out on the rest of the field.
And we got a slow car in turns 3 and 4. And that's going to bring out the caution flag once again. All right, the lights are out. So we're going to come back to green with 12 down, 8 to go.
8 to go as AJ Flick leads him out of the pack and ship start zone. Norris gets a great run. Spithaler for 2nd. Norris to the bottom. Spithaler's going to run the top. Flip!
Oh, no! I think that's Kemenaugh's for the 2nd time tonight.
Over to the pack and ship start zone. Between 3 and 4, you're out, and we're up. And Norris takes 2nd place real quick over Spithaler. He's on the prowl. 3 wide. Spithaler has to check up in front of Mattis. Or Bauer, rather. That's Bauer. Still AJ Flick leading in the race. And Dylan Norris up into 2nd. Schaefer looking for 3rd.
Schaefer!
Bauer, he takes it.
Where did Schaefer come from? Taking over that 3rd spot. His team made the right changes, and unfortunately, Spithaler has dropped from second back to sixth.
But out of turn number 4, give him the win. A.J. Flick to the stripe. He takes the win. Dylan Norris second. The Steel City Outlaw, Tim Schaefer, comes home third. He's out of the car, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it one time for A.J. Flick. For A.J. Flick, let me ask you a quick question. How does this track behave differently in March? You've won 2 of these events now.
I mean, it's fast as hell. I mean, this place just rips. So it's one of the unique parts about Western PA. I mean, everything that we have is 3/8 or smaller, and yet you come to Pittsburgh, and I think this is probably, truthfully, when it's prepped similar like this or what it was in March, I think it's the fastest racetrack in the world, and it's a shame the Outlaws and All-Stars and High Limit doesn't come here, because I bet they'd break some speed records.
Alex Free's going to bring him down to the pack and ship start line over there in turn number 4. Jeff Poor, our flagman, has the green flag in hand. Slow and slow, and we're away. Feature racing for the Pot of Gold 3 is live on Dirt.tv.
Well, A.J. Campbell's having all kinds of problems in the back of this pack. That car was sideways coming through the restart line. Looks like he got it sorted out before anything happened there.
And there you mentioned it, Tim Schaefer falling back a number of spots off the restart. That car just not enough power, not enough giddy up and go for that 45 machine. But Alex Ferree so far leads the field. Mike Norris running second. Colton Flinner, look at the bottom of Lucan out of 3 and 4. Doesn't have the run there. Plenty enough room to battle back.
Well, you know, this is what we're used to seeing out of this racetrack at this point of the night. Cars are all over the place. Some running all the way at the bottom, through the moto, up towards the higher side. Not quite right up against the wall, but making time up on the higher line as well. Keeping that momentum going. And Lucan will be side by side with Flinner. Looks like Flinner's going to get that 3rd spot through 1 and 2, but we'll see if Kyle can carry that momentum going into turn 3.
Kyle looks for the switch back going into 3 and 4. Not enough there. Flinner pins him to the rail. And Lucan slides up the racetrack out of turn number 4, but so far it's the Alex Ferree show and the number 1 Cochran 1C. Michael Norris still within striking distance, though hasn't lost the goose yet. As Ferree checks up, Norris to the bottom of 3.
Oh, the 3 Weaver got right up in front of Ferree and killed his momentum going on the back straightaway, and Norris took that opportunity to pounce. Looks like we got a slow car on the high side coming out of turn 4. That looks like it's the 1 of Braden Dillinger, and he is not going to be able to make it down the racetrack. So we're going to have our first yet-to-be-sponsored caution flag in the late model feature.
From your perspective, Nick, how tricky is it to wait for that restart, that control car to take that line and the anticipation behind the wheel?
Well, it's tough because you're listening when they go, and honestly, you're trying to go just before they do to get that jump on them, try to get that lead position. A little more side by side this time as they go into 1 and 2. Here comes Norris around the high side and squeezes in between the 1C Ferree and that concrete wall to retake the lead going into 3 and 4. That worked yet.
As Brock Pinkerus moves around him on the bottom.
That was pretty tight.
Pinkerus back up over the top of the nose of Jared Miley. Battle still on for 4th as Pinkerus trying to use that bottom to get around Kyle Lucan. The veteran Kyle Lucan using the top side to his advantage. Pinkerus now slides into the wall. Brock Pinkerus slides up into the front of Kyle Lucan, who collects a little bit of Jared Miley there.
Sparklers and snakes as Lucan got up in the wall after that slider from the 555. Taking advantage of that slide job by Pinkerus that choked up Lucan. And now here comes Gunn on the inside of the 555 going down the back straightaway. He's just running such a smooth line around the bottom of this racetrack, keeping his momentum going. It won't surprise me if he clears the 555 here and starts putting a little bit of distance. And our top 3 have kind of checked out. They're running in the line up front, and it's still Norris, Ferree, and Flinner. Norris goes to the bottom in 3 and 4 behind the crate car of Matthew Bernard and takes the white flag. One more trip around Dirt's Monster half mile.
Michael Norris back-to-back Pot of Gold winner.
3-time, I believe. And this is the way to get back in the car after that crash in Lernerville. Michael Norris takes the checker flag and wins your pot of gold late model feature for the 3rd year in a row, Luke. Look at the race going down the back straightaway. We're 2x2 behind Shelpman.
I know, everybody else can. It's just Jeff. I didn't like that start at all.
Plenty of great racing behind Steven Shelpman, but here comes that 20 car, Scott Mitchell. You mentioned that car was looking real strong, came from the back.
Got a real good battle brewing for 3rd, 4th, or 5th still. Those cars are too wide, a little bit sideways. And that 7FL is just nice and smooth around the bottom side of the track.
Mitchell, a bit of a run off the bottom of turn number 2. He's going to close that gap up to Shelpman. And turn 4 out of the pack and ship start line over there in turn number 4. The 119 takes a spot out. He gets back in line. He's okay. As here comes the 7FL on the outside of Shelpman. Does he have anything for him? He's going to switch underneath of him. A little crossover move behind Shelpman. He's going to be on the bottom. As they race down the back stretch, he's still there at the quarter panel. Shelpman, though, has a bit of a lead as they go to 3 and 4. Jeff Porro, white flag in hand. He's going to throw one more time around Dirt's Monster half mile.
83, Ed Vogel sneaks into 2nd place at the line.
Mike Matta spun around on the front stretch, see if he can gather it up. He will. We're going to try to stay green here. We are going to stay green here.
One final time through turns 3 and 4. The 17 dives at the bottom. The 83 of Vogel's making a fierce charge, but it's not going to happen. Your winner of the Crown Vic portion of the pot of gold is the 17 of Steven Shelpman, followed by the 83E of Ed Vogel, 7FL of Jason Rendell, 28A of Travis Vogel, and in 5th, the 48 of Mike Bacalon.